Hi everyone, it's Lori Pinto from Lollipop Paper and Ink. I wanted to take a few minutes today to talk about the Stampin' Up! Embossing paste. And although it's been out since June, it came out with the annual catalog. Lately I've been just having so much fun with it that I wanted to share some of my completed projects. And maybe if we have time, get to down to the step-by-step basics of how to use the paste and the masks. And hopefully we'll get some tips along the way. So just hang in there and give me 1 sec and we'll get busy. Okay, so let me show you a few of the card projects that I have already completed. Some of these are on the blog, so you can see the colors and the patterns and the DSP that I used. If it's not on the blog yet, I hopefully will get them all on by the weekend or early next week. So this one, I just used the ink that I had mixed in with the embossing paste, and I put it over a piece of the DSP right there to make a background on a background. Really quick and easy. This one, I did the same thing. I just used 2 different pieces of DSP. This one I had extra left over, and I'll show you what to do with the extra, because you never throw that out. And I just covered the butterfly in the embossing paste, let it dry, and it now has a nice little fuzzy look to it. This one is one of my favorites, and I just used a sunflower from the Painted Harvest stamp set, and I had the pattern where I just ran it across the paper randomly, and sometimes you just do the embossing work and you don't really know what your end result is going to be, and that's what makes this so nice. This one I did, I put a little bit of the powder pink in there. It's very hard to see here, but I'll explain to you why that's a little bit lighter than it should be. But I was determined to have it in powder pink, and I'm happy the way that came out. This one I did the same thing, a different mask, the same mask as before, and I mixed in Pool Party and Soft Sky, I believe, to get that color, that pretty color aqua. This one I just did a little strip of the part of the cardstock, and I used the same tone-on-tone coloring. So I used Peekaboo Peach ink to add it right to the cardstock Peekaboo Peach. This one was from the Daisy stamp set, the Daisy Delight stamp set and bundle, and I cropped these out using the punch, and then I stamped them, and then I put some leftover embossing paste right over it just to give it a little bit more dimension. And this one here, I did the whole card, and I did it on Whisper White because not Whisper White, excuse me. I did it on Shimmery White because I wanted it to stand out a little. And although this is very vanilla ribbon, it just matches perfectly. And excuse me, what I did here was when I was mixing the embossing paste, even though it was just white, I added in a little bit of the dazzling diamonds just for a little bit of a sparkle. I don't know if you can see it. And then I did emboss the cake so with just clear embossing powder, so that has a little bit of a twinkle to it once you look at it at a certain angle. So anyway, those are the ones that I have done already, and let me just give you a quick idea on how you can go forward with it. Just first tip is this embossing powder dries up really quickly, so as soon as you're done using it, you should close the cover. I learned my lesson the hard way, and I do have a little bit of hardening going on in there, but not a big deal. And you do get to use a lot of cards you get out of it. So they have these embossing tools from Stampin' Up. You could use these. You could use any kind of spatula. And these are the masks that come with it, and also the cloud. There's a cloud mask that comes with it too. And this is called the Pattern Party Decorative Masks set. And you could use these, or you could just use one of your thinlits or framelits and make your own stencil and do it that way, which I plan to do sometime this week. So we'll stay tuned for that. So let's just start with this brick one. And so again, I left it open, I shouldn't have done that. But I always have a piece of, a bucket, a bowl of soapy warm water. And when I'm done, I put everything right in there. So to start with, I just picked this up. I mean, people use parchment paper. You can use your silicone mat. I just find this is easier. It's all in one place, and it doesn't like get mixed in with each of the colors. So what you would do to start with, and let's just start with this one here. I'll do the brick over the brick again. And what I do is I just put that down there, wherever I want it to be, and then I just take some tape, close the cover, Lori, and I would just tape it down to my silicone mat, just so that it's a little easier to work with. So I taped it, see if you can see that, move it up a little, and so this one we're going to use, this is the piece from the Color Theory for crushed curry, and so I'm going to use a little bit of paste, and I'm going to take my re-inker and I'm going to put that right in there. So I'll show you how I did that. One drop will do you. I mean, you don't want it too dark, and it's always easier to add later on if it's a little bit too light for you. So you just mix it in, simple, and you don't have to work too quickly, you know, when you're mixing, but when you do get it on the paper, that's when it is going to dry pretty quickly. So, all right, so I have this is good enough. When you pick it up, try to pick it up from the back. I could even use the other spatula for that. And you just spread it. And you can do it however, whatever direction you want, how much of it you want to cover. I think I'm going to use this thicker one. And that's really all there is to it. And then once I would be done, when I decide that, okay, this is good enough, I would just lift it up, and I'll show you. And then this one I could have used more tape, but I mean more paste, but I just wanted to give you an idea. So that's it. You pick it up and you're good. Now I would just take this and I put it right into my soapy water, and I have a base that I can just decide later on what exactly it is that what kind of card I'm going to make from that. In the card that I showed you, I did it from this angle, but you get to choose whatever you want. And the good thing about that is that it dries, and whenever you're ready, like that's why I do a lot in a row, so that then I can decide what exactly I want to do for it. And I never waste any paste. If I had something left over here, maybe I'll make more for this next one, but I just take it and put it in the put it on a piece of scrap paper, and you never know when you want to use it again. So right now I'm taking the spatula utensils, and I just ran them in a little bit of soapy water, because they will get hard right away. So let's try this one now. So for this one, it's like what I did before when I only did one section of the card. So what I did was I put a piece of a Post-it note, and I just lined it up. This I think is about 1.5 inches, but you can make it whatever width you want. And that's all that I knew that I wanted. So what I would do here is I'm a little bit more exact when I'm doing this, because it's going to show up, and I want my design to be a little bit more, a little bit more accurate. So I'll keep my mask taped down like that, just in case it starts to move. And for this one, I'm using the Early Espresso ink and cardstock, because I have in my mind that I want to use it for one of my coffee cafe stamp set cards. So, and this one I know I don't need a lot of, but so I'm just going to put it in there, and one drop, especially since this is so dark. I hope you're going to be able to see it. And then we spread. Ooh, this is dark. But dark coffee is dark, so it'll be fine. All right, so that's all we have to do here. I'm going to take that and I'm going to use my other one to pick it up, and I scoop it from the back because that's where I'm going to be using it, and I have it on here. And I don't care if it goes on the Post-it, and I don't care if it goes on my silicone mat, because that just wipes right up. And this one, it's very little, but you just want to make sure that you have all of your triangles covered, or not, your diamonds, I mean. It could be just, you want to just do half. And that's that. So that's going into the water, that's going in the water. And let's pick this up. And that's going in the water. There you go. That will look nice when I pair it up with a piece of pattern paper from the, I think I pulled something out from that already. Yeah, I think I'll use something like this to layer that on, and that looks pretty. I think this time I'll do it that way. So, okay, let me just tell you one more trick that I do when I don't have a re-inker and I don't have, I have the embossing paste, but I don't have enough or I don't have the right color with the re-inker. So what I do is, because sometimes I have it in my head, a certain color, and I have to do it, and there's no telling me otherwise. So what I'll do, I'll just take a piece of scrap paper here to show you this. But in desperate times, you take desperate measures. So what I would do is just take one of my Stampin' right markers, and I would put it in here, or put it in on my silicone mat, doesn't matter, and just put a little bit. Now this is not going to come out as dark or as deep as what you would have if you have the inker, but to me it's a good find of knowing that you know, if I just want a little bit and I want it to match, this is what I do. And there you go. And I did not have my Berry Burst re-inker out, but I wanted to use this. So I could take this piece, I'll hold on to it, and I could just crop it out with a punch or with a die and stamp over it, and I'll be good to go. So there you have it. Now this is going to go right back in the tray, and these were, so we had the mask of the triangles, excuse me, the diamonds, the brickwork, this medallion piece, which is so pretty. You can use it as a whole piece or use it just as a corner. And then there was the cloud piece. So that's my embossing paste tips for the day. And I hope you can visit my blog and see all of the details involved in making all of these cards. And I hope you get some of this embossing paste and you play with it. Put the cover back on, Lori. And I know that you're gonna enjoy it. So thank you for watching. I would love for you to leave a comment below, and hopefully come back next time. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.